Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
4 months into the coronavirus crisis, we are asking a trick question. Which city is emerging to be the New York of India? I said trick question because this comparison obviously is not flattering, because when the pandemic started, first you said which city is the Wuhan of such and such country, or which city then of the Milan of such and such country, or Lombardy of such and such country. Since then, you've been saying which city is the New York of such and such country. Maybe going ahead, you will say which country is the new Brazil, given that country is going. But right now, since New York City itself became such an epicenter of the epidemic, lots of people died there, the city was thrown completely haywire, that's a bad enough comparison. So when trouble started in India, a lot of people thought that Mumbai will be India's New York in terms of coronavirus, because Mumbai has many of the ingredients. It has a lot of people, it is very congested, it has very crowded rails. Also, Mumbai has something that New York doesn't, at least not in even a fraction of that measure, which is very crowded slum areas. And when the virus got into Dharavi and places, we thought this was the apocalypse. And that was generally believed. Now, you would see, and we talked about Dharavi a week back, we can see that Mumbai got its act together and looks like it's putting up a good fight. To begin with, Mumbai had a high fatality rate. Mumbai had rising cases. It still has high number of cases. It has more cases than Delhi, but also, as Mumbai points out, it has conducted a lot more tests than Delhi. But now it looks like Mumbai's positivity is coming down, and in areas like Dharavi, numbers are coming down. In fact, Dharavi is down to single-digit positive cases a day, which is brilliant. So, savor good news when you have it, but don't run away from it when you don't have good news. And the bad news now is that the city that seems to be the unlikely candidate for emerging as India's New York right now seems to be Delhi. India's capital, the city I live in. It's a very pampered city. It's also a very rich city. It's a city-state. It has a very rich state government with very large revenues for a small base of people. It has the best infrastructure in the country, and yet it's in deep trouble. Now, what is this trouble? So first, let me give you some basic figures, and I will put them in perspective, because everything doesn't mean what it seems. In terms of sheer numbers of positive cases, Delhi today, as we get this evening's counts, should be number 2 in the country. Now think about it. Delhi number 2, it is less than 1/6 of Maharashtra. Maharashtra is number 1 by some distance, essentially because it has Mumbai and Pune, 2 big cities in it, but Mumbai more than Pune. Then Tamil Nadu has been the second largest. That's a state more than 4 times as big as Delhi in terms of population. And yet Delhi is now leaving that behind, and it's not as if Tamil Nadu is essentially a rural state. Tamil Nadu also has the city of Chennai, which is a metro. It has Coimbatore, and it has many others. So Delhi leaves Tamil Nadu behind to become number 2 in India. For a city of 2 crores, that's not nice. Although total cases is not the fairest indication of how well or badly a place is doing, it could also mean that you're testing a lot more. We will come to that. So certainly, Delhi is testing a lot more per million compared to Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra, but Delhi is not the first. So that is the other point to notice. Delhi is not the first in terms of tests per million. That state, surprise of surprises, is Jammu and Kashmir, which is not a tiny population state compared to Delhi, most certainly not. So Jammu and Kashmir has 22,137 tests per million. Delhi now has 18,808 tests per million. That is after the ramp up over the past week, and we'll talk about that. Mumbai, in comparison, has 21,766 tests per million. So if Mumbai's overall numbers are higher, you have to see that in perspective. Delhi, on the other hand, what went wrong in Delhi? Because initially looked like Delhi was in good shape. On May 4, Arvind Kejriwal said that Delhi was ready to reopen. In fact, that's when the talk came. A decision was to be made whether the earlier 3-week lockdown should be extended or not. So he said Delhi is ready. Delhi has the tests, the hospitals, the health workers, everything. Delhi will be able to handle it. Even later he said Delhi is 4 steps ahead of coronavirus. Now, so where did Delhi go wrong? That was May 4. As luck would have it, maybe for the better, this lockdown was extended by 3 more weeks until May 25. Otherwise, we don't know where would we end up. After that, as the lockdown opened up, we found that Delhi case numbers started going up. And then you see a strange thing. As Delhi's case numbers started going up, Delhi's tests first remained static, then they started going down, and they went down quite heavily. In fact, if you read a story that my colleague Abantika Ghosh has written on the print, and you will get a link with the description of this Cut the Clutter, you will see that 27th May, Delhi conducted 6,087 tests. 31st May, Delhi conducted 3,379 tests. 7th June, Delhi conducted 3,063 tests. And you can see the trend there is consistently lower. You will see a graphic, in fact, that shows that as Delhi's positivity rate has gone up, Delhi's tests have remained the same or have come down until last week, when they again picked up, and thereby lies a story. So you can see in Delhi a clear indication that as the cases started going up, Delhi, instead of ramping up its testing, started to test less. And it was then that the Supreme Court got angry and lashed out and said Delhi has to test more and has to triple its testing. That has happened within a week now. So if you look at the data, it tells you quite clearly that after Delhi reopened, there was a surge. How much of a surge? You can see that Delhi has 4,500 cases on 31st of May. Today, it has about 55,000. So it's gone up very fast. In just less than 3 weeks, just about 3 weeks, it has gone almost 10 times in Delhi. Now, how did that happen? Again, if you compare the data of Delhi's positive cases and Delhi's testing patterns, then you can see that as your positivity was going up, your testing was coming down. I don't know if the motive was to hide the fact that your positivity is high, or there were other excuses. If you read Abantika's story, she tells you that ICMR had said not just that nobody asymptomatic should not be tested. They said symptomatic people should be tested. Normally, asymptomatic people should not be tested, but asymptomatic contacts of symptomatic cases should be, or positive cases should be tested. That wasn't being done in Delhi, and by using that modified definition, Delhi kept on reducing its testing numbers, which turned out to be delusional. So it does look like that in the 3 weeks between, say, May 31 and 15th of June, between those 3 weeks, it looks like the genie slipped out of the bottle, or the horse bolted the stable, because all the people who were not tested but who were positive and who were then mixing with the population, they were not being isolated, they infected a lot more. So now when more tests are being done and more people are being found, this Saturday, for example, 17,533 tests was done. So Delhi government now, this process is controlled by the Union Home Ministry directly by Amit Shah, the Home Minister, has tripled its testing within 6 days. Still, Delhi's test positivity rate is upwards of 20%. And that's a little bit misleading, because out of these 17,533 tests, about 3,000 are rapid antigen tests, and we'll tell you a little bit about them in a couple of minutes. Because once again, if you see that, if you discount that, and if you presume that because rapid antigen tests confirm positives for you, But people, it declares negative, they have to be tested again with RT-PCR. So if those are tested again, then roughly I would say Delhi's TPR is again still close to 25%, which is a lot, which means Delhi has been in deep trouble. Delhi, on the other hand, also has a problem with the hospital beds and things, which is also being sorted out or addressed right now. Now, how did Delhi come to this? Now, officials tell Abantika, people who deal with it, this epidemiologists, they say that Delhi at some point abandoned the idea of testing, tracing, tracking, treating. They said we are building our infrastructure. So the exact line she quotes an eminent epidemiologist as saying is that Delhi focused on governance but shifted away from public health, which is a bit odd because Delhi actually should have been in better state to handle the public health part than other states, because Delhi's ASHA numbers, ASHA workers, ASHA is accredited social health activists. These are people who are used now for tracing, tracking, isolating, checking on people in home isolation. Delhi's numbers are much higher than other states. In fact, Delhi's sanctioned numbers are only, or needed numbers are only 1174, but this Abantika story tells you that actual numbers in Delhi are 3 times as many, 3,385. In spite of that, Delhi dropped the ball on tracing, tracking. In fact, you will see a tweet from Amitabh Kant, who's CEO at Niti Aayog, that shows you why Bengaluru succeeded and other cities failed. And he's given you a comparison. Bengaluru tracked or traced 47 contacts for each positive case, 47. Delhi, in comparison, traced only 2.1. So we saw this bizarre decision by the central government and the LG saying that everybody who was found positive in Delhi, even asymptomatic, will have to go into institutional quarantine. Now, if every day you are having 2, 3, 4,000 people turning out positive, there is no way you can find institutional quarantine for them. You have to put them in home quarantine. But for home quarantine to be successful, you have to do it the way Bengaluru had done, which means it has to be very strict. In Delhi, all they did was to put a poster in front of your house and then left it to your neighborhood to restrain you. But the fact is that were you isolated within your family? Were you infecting the rest of your family, your workers, your visitors? Nobody was tracking. So that is the ball that Delhi dropped. And that is what Delhi is now paying for. Now, we told you about rapid antigen test. I will not go into too many technicalities, and I will again give you the link to a story by Swagata Yadavar, another of my colleagues. She did the story explaining what these tests are. Basically, this is a test done wherever you are. You don't have to take that test sample to a lab. So a doctor on duty, a nurse on duty, a surveyor on duty can immediately conduct that test. You take a swab, and this test detects a protein, which is an antigen in the swab, that tells you for sure whether somebody is positive or not. So it does not give you a false positive, which means when it says somebody is positive, then you know this one is positive. So whoever is positive does not have to go through an RT-PCR test again. So you can start treating that person as a positive coronavirus case. On the other hand, it is not so reliable when it comes to those that this test finds negative, because its ability to confirm negatives is not so good. It can have many false negatives, no false positives. So a positive result, unfortunately for the person, is true, but a negative result, again unfortunately for the person, then we'll need an RT-PCR test. So how is this test useful? This test is useful, say, in hospital conditions, settings, or containment zones. So instead of first testing everybody and waiting for 2 days to get the results, you can quickly give everybody an antigen test and see. So those that are positive, you immediately separate them, and the rest you can again then send for RT-PCR test. So particularly in hospitals, ICUs, where other patients are there who are going for organ transplants, surgeries, chemotherapy, who are in an environment where if they have the virus, it can be aerosolized, because if you are given oxygen under pressure, then the virus can be aerosolized. So that is where this test is very helpful. But read that Swagata Yadavar story. Now, Delhi has now upped its game a little bit. Delhi now is at 18,808 per million, as we mentioned to you. Mumbai has 21,766. J&K, as we had told you, has 22,137. Deaths per million, Delhi is now unfortunately catching up with Mumbai. Mumbai is upwards of 150 per million. Delhi is now at 108.76 and rising. Part of it has also come because a fresh audit has taken place of all the deaths in Delhi and Mumbai, and the numbers have been upped in both places. So once again, not a pretty picture. So Delhi, if you look at the picture from any end, Delhi is in trouble. And Delhi, it's really a bit strange, because this is a very well governed city. This is a very well looked after city. It has multiplicity of authorities, but it has a very popular state government which takes great pride in voluntary work. In fact, they have risen from voluntary work to this level. But then for Delhi to have such a high number of cases, but more importantly, for Delhi to have 12 times the per million mortality rate than the national average is a shame. This should not happen, and time has now come to address this. Once again, Delhi dropped the ball for 3 weeks. Delhi is now paying for it. So we have spoken enough about Delhi. I will now speak about another favorite state of ours, favorite quote unquote, and that is the state of Telangana. So once again, you will see a chart that I will share for you. And what does this chart show you? This chart shows you, this is not the parade of winners in India. This is the parade of users in India. In that chart, the top spot, unfortunately, is still with Telangana. This is the chart of states with the lowest number of tests per million. That is Telangana. Telangana is sitting at just 186 tests per million. This is compared to India's national average of 300 per million and Delhi's average of 3,033 per million. And remember, if Delhi is a city-state, Telangana also has a big city in Hyderabad, also a very important city. So Telangana has been very resistant to testing. In fact, even over the last 7 days, Telangana has conducted only 7,238 tests. Now you could have said, and I've been saying this earlier also, that state should not focus on total positivity rate, because total positivity rate actually, or total positives, actually if you have larger number of positives, it can also be a good thing, because then your mortality rate comes down as an average. So if you are looking at a metric, look at infection mortality rate as a metric, or per million mortality rate, not the total infections rate. But if you test so little, you could get away with it. So if you look at mortality rate, Telangana is not that good at all. So Telangana is doing quite badly in that area as well. So now that the center has focused on Delhi, and maybe Delhi will have a turnaround soon, time has also come for the center now to look at Telangana, because look at Telangana's test positivity rate also. If Delhi is 26.2 today with so much testing, all right, in a city state, Telangana is also 25.9 with a small amount of testing, when it is a much larger state than just the city of Hyderabad. So these are the worrying areas. If you ask me, the two big worrying areas in India right now are Delhi, but something is being done in Delhi, and second, Hyderabad and Telangana. If that state government does not act, then I think the center should use its disaster management powers and move in there as well.